everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is MTG GhoulDecks, and today I wanted to show y'all my Xenagos God of Revels deck. So to start it out, let's talk about Xenagos a little bit. So for 3, a red and a green, it's a 6/5 legendary enchantment god, and I got the stargazing, I don't know the celestial constellation art, but it is indestructible, and as long as your devotion to red and green is less than 7, it isn't a creature, which will not be a problem most of the time. He is literally a living enchantment. That's all it is. At the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste and gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is that creature's power. So I know a lot of you guys are like, oh, well, this is good artifacts and stuff like that. No, this is artifacts. This is literally Gruul artifacts before Miria came along and changed the game on us. But she is also included in the 99 because of, card advantage. So how are we going to cast all these artifact spells? Well, let's go ahead and get into the artifact ramp. Starting off with Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, Gruul Signet, Liquid Metal Torque, Mind Stone, Talisman of Impulse, Thought Vessel, Copper Mirror, Iron Mirror, Basalt Monolith, and yes, we do have a way to make infinite mana off of Basalt Monolith. Semblance Anvil I consider ramp because it is going to reduce the amount of colorless mana we have to pay for our artifacts, so that could get down to pretty cheap. Burnished Heart is ramp. Foundry Inspector, just like the Semblance Anvil, anything that's a cost reducer, I consider that ramp. Palladium Mirror, Jorah's Familiar, Solemn. Forsaken Monument goes infinite with the Basalt Monolith, which is pretty cool. Zendikar Resurgent is ramp, including card advantage, because whenever we cast a creature spell, we draw a card, and we are carrying a bunch of creatures. Into the non-artifact ramp, we have Farseek, Nature's Lore, Rampant Growth, and 3 Visits. Now, what all artifact creatures are we playing? Well, you can't have an artifact deck without a Memnite. And we're going to keep going up the scale, going up to Patchwork Automaton, Steel Overseer, Chief of the Foundry. Liberator is great if you're trying to be able to cast all of those colorless spells and artifact spells. I need another one of these for not Xenagos, but Traxos. So I need to look for another one of those. Shambling Suit, it's just big off of all of our artifacts. Shimmer Mirror is another one of those artifacts flash spells. Traxos, of course. Karn Legacy Reforged is great in this deck because it allows us to constantly add more mana turn after turn, as long as we keep playing artifacts, into more artifacts. And he gets bigger. Meteor Golem for some removal. Darksteel Colossus, and all of the Colossus are in the deck. Darksteel, Michael's Metalwork Colossus, the Mycosynth Golem, which actually makes it could make our artifacts creatures super cheap, and Blightsteel. Now we get into some of the cards for the theme of the deck. If you notice, a lot of those didn't have trample. So with Xenagos, with Gruul Warplow and Xenagos, we're gonna be able to give them their buff and trample. Quark Clan Ironworks, in case we just need to sacrifice our whole board in case of Lord knows what. Darksteel Forge to make them all indestructible. Another instance of trample in Primal Rage. This is a card I feel like doesn't get enough love in Gruul and decks that can play it that are playing big creatures. This is Mage Slayer. This was out of the Alara block a long time ago. But for a generic, a red and a green, you can equip it for 3. And whenever equipped creature attacks, it deals damage equal to its power. It deals damage equal to its power to defending player. So you don't have to land the Blightsteel, but you can attack with it and still deal deadly infect damage, which I feel like is important. Fires of Yavimaya gives all of our creatures haste. There would be an anger, but it's not an artifact. This is a strictly artifact battle cruiser theme. Howling Mine for some card into our card advantage. Mystic Forge. Canoptech Spider is a really good card if you're running a non-token artifact based deck or a vehicle deck, because it just consistently can draw you cards, and it has its own evasion in flying. Thrill of Possibility. Tormenting Voice. Valakut Awakening. Scrap Mastery is in one of those instances where, alright, there aren't any other artifacts in the graveyard, so we're just going to play this, sacrifice all of our artifacts to KCI, make a bunch of mana, and then bring them all back. Guardian Project. Harmonize. Garruk's best card, Return of the Wild Speaker. I mean, we're not running any humans, so if we need a overrun type effect, it's great. If we need to draw cards, it's great. Shared Summons gets us any two creatures we need. Say we need a Blightsteel and a Metalwork, I don't know, or a Mycosynth Golem to make it cheaper. But these will get you whatever cards you need. As I said, the Myria is in the 99. She was really good. I thought about changing this deck into a Myria deck, but then I realized it's just everybody's going to be looking at you because you're just constantly going to be looking for the next card, and I just didn't want to make this that powerful of a deck. And now we're into our removal, starting off with Tormod's Crypt, Pyroblast. It's beautiful, old Pyroblast. The Red Elemental Blast, the white border. Gotta have some white border here and there. Then the Chandra's Ignition is also in the deck to help finish out the game. So what Chandra's Ignition does is it deals damage equal to its target creature. You choose a creature. Could be yours, could be... excuse me. It could be your opponent's. But you choose a creature, it deals damage equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent. But if the circumstances are right, you can choose a Blightsteel Colossus and just take everybody out. Give everything negative 11/11 and deal 11 infect damage to your opponents. Blasphemous Act for a board wipe. Unravel the Aether, because we do have problems removing enchantments in green-red because I didn't put enough removal in the deck. I also feel like I did not put enough card draw. Just me personally. Beast Within for any pesky permanents. Overwhelming Stampede I consider removal, because if you're doing it right and you have a board full of creatures, and like say you got a Mycosynth Golem or a Metalwork Colossus out, it's just everything gets +11/+11 in trample. Can't get no better than that. And I also consider Heroic Intervention removal and just keeping your board alive, so I put it in there also. So that concludes the main body of the deck, and now we get to the lands. So if you have any suggestions and you've been listening this long, put them down in the comments below. I really want to see what everybody has to say, and I do like to respond to comments when I can, which I can all the time. So you can probably expect a response. But now we get into the land base of the deck, and this one probably doesn't need any help because it's an artifact deck, but we are playing green and red. So starting off with the fetches: Windswept Heath, Wooded Foothills, into our Command Tower, Taiga, Stomping Ground, Spire Garden, Cinderglade, Grove of the Burn Willows, City of Brass, Reflecting Pool, Spire of Industry, Darksteel Citadels in there for counting artifacts, along with the Great Furnace and the Tree of Tales and the Slagwoods Bridge. Then we also have some utility lands like the Buried Ruin, this gorgeous Mishra's Factory. I just love this one. It's pixel art, but at the same time it's like a Christmassy vibe. I kind of like it. It's pretty cool. Rogue's Passage, Kessig Wolfrun, and I also did not skip out on what basics I choose. I chose the what are they? I could probably change these now because we do have some Brothers War lands that I really like that I feel like would go better in this deck. But I did choose the Pokemon lands from Theros to go into the deck. But that is going to be it, everybody. I really appreciate everybody that watches, likes, comments, subscribes. I am almost to 100 subscribers. I'm at like 99, I think. So if you're not subscribed, help me get to 100. But that's going to be it, and I can't say it enough. I appreciate everybody. And I'll see you guys next time in the graveyard.